most people never face, and it's the foundation of every breakthrough in wealth, abundance, and financial freedom. Your financial life is a direct reflection of your mindset. Every dollar you earn, every investment you make, every opportunity you seize or fail to seize is filtered through the lens of your beliefs about money, your emotional relationship with wealth, and your identity in the context of success. Most people think that financial outcomes are determined by luck, inheritance, circumstance, or external factors. They think that wealth is something that happens to other people, something that requires a stroke of good fortune or someone else's generosity. And because they believe that, they live in fear, limitation, and scarcity, reacting to the world instead of shaping it. But the truth is far more empowering. Money is a reflection of your value creation, and your value creation is determined by your mindset. Wealth is not an external game. It is internal first. The person who masters their beliefs about money, who shapes their identity around abundance and possibility, becomes unstoppable in creating financial results. It begins in the mind, and everything else follows. If you cannot think abundantly, you cannot act abundantly. If you cannot believe in your ability to generate resources, you will unconsciously sabotage your own growth. If you cannot align your identity with financial freedom, no strategy, no investment, no opportunity will ever be enough. Now let's talk about fear, because it is the single greatest barrier to financial mastery. Fear is subtle. Fear whispers in your ear every time you consider taking a risk, asking for a raise, starting a business, or investing in your future. Fear tells you you don't deserve this, it's too risky, you'll fail, you're not ready, and most people obey that fear, allowing it to dictate every decision they make, every dollar they spend, every opportunity they avoid. Scarcity thinking is born from fear. The belief that there will never be enough, that you are not enough, that life is a finite game in which resources are limited and must be hoarded, and the results are predictable: undercharging your worth, settling for mediocrity, avoiding growth, procrastinating on investment, and ultimately remaining trapped in a cycle of limitation. But let me tell you something powerful. Fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a signal. It is an indication that something important is in front of you, that stepping into uncertainty is exactly what will expand your life, and that growth lies on the other side of discomfort. The person who learns to face fear, to act in spite of it, to use it as fuel rather than a cage, creates exponential financial growth. Scarcity is replaced by abundance, hesitation is replaced by decisive action, and limitation is replaced by opportunity. The shift is internal first. Change your mindset, confront your fears, expand your capacity to believe in your own worth, and your financial reality will inevitably follow. And this brings us to the critical principle. Money flows to those who create value, not complaints, not excuses, not envy. Wealth is the natural byproduct of solving problems, serving others, and contributing in a way that exceeds expectation. It is not about working harder alone. It is about thinking smarter, adding more, and expanding your impact. Every dollar is a reflection of the value you provide. The richer your ideas, the broader your vision, the more solutions you offer, the more money flows to you. And the reason most people fail to generate wealth is not because they lack opportunity, it is because they fail to recognize the connection between value and reward. They underestimate themselves, undervalue their contributions, and underdeliver, unconsciously limiting their own results. But the person with a money mindset understands that every challenge is an opportunity to provide more, to expand their skills, to innovate, and to increase their influence. They focus relentlessly on contribution, impact, and problem solving, knowing that when value is delivered consistently, wealth is the natural outcome. Creating value becomes a habit, a mindset, a way of being, rather than a transactional exchange. You stop thinking in terms of scarcity and competition, and you start thinking in terms of possibility, leverage, and multiplication. Building on this, let's examine how mindset, fear, and value creation intersect to shape extraordinary financial outcomes. First, your beliefs dictate what you perceive as possible. If you believe there is a ceiling to your income, if you believe that wealth is reserved for others, if you believe that opportunities are scarce, you will unconsciously sabotage your own potential. You will avoid high-impact projects, stay silent in negotiations, and undervalue your work. Your results will mirror your beliefs. But when you shift your beliefs, when you internalize that you are capable, deserving, and resourceful, you open doors to opportunities you never noticed before. Belief expands perception, and perception drives action. Second, fear acts as a filter. Fear will try to prevent you from acting, from stepping into high leverage opportunities, from investing in yourself, and from taking calculated risks. Fear will whisper that security is safer than growth, that comfort is preferable to expansion. Most people listen, and that is why they never grow. But when you act despite fear, when you develop courage as a habit, you create momentum that compounds over time. Action in the presence of fear is the key to building financial confidence, capability, and results. Third, value creation is the vehicle that translates mindset and courage into wealth. You can have the most powerful mindset and the greatest courage, but if you do not provide value, money will not flow. Conversely, if you create massive value, the universe or the marketplace will reward you abundantly. Wealth is the natural consequence of consistent contribution, innovation, and problem solving. Let me illustrate the compounding power of these principles. Imagine a person who develops a mindset of abundance, confronts fear daily, and focuses relentlessly on providing value. Each decision, each action, each investment, and each risk is guided by the belief that they are capable and deserving. They refuse to let fear dictate their choices. They view every challenge as an opportunity to create solutions. They relentlessly seek ways to improve, expand, and contribute. Over time, their skills multiply, their influence grows, and their financial results compound. Small wins accumulate, confidence accelerates, opportunities multiply, and the person begins to operate at a level of power that seems unreachable to the untrained mind. The person who acts without fear, who creates without expectation, and who believes without limitation naturally attracts wealth. They do not chase money. They attract it by being indispensable. This is the essence of a money mindset. It is internal mastery, applied externally through value creation. And let's not ignore the emotional dimension, because money is not purely logical. Your emotions shape your spending, investing, and risk-taking decisions every day. Fear, guilt, shame, envy, and scarcity thinking distort judgment and undermine results. But when your money mindset is aligned, when you cultivate emotional intelligence, when you associate wealth with contribution, freedom, and impact rather than stress or fear, your decisions improve dramatically. You start to invest in yourself wisely. You start to negotiate and advocate for your value. You start to seize opportunities that others ignore. You start to treat money as a tool to create more freedom, more influence, and more impact, rather than as a source of anxiety. The emotional alignment amplifies your rational strategy, creating a multiplier effect in results. When mindset, courage, value creation, and emotional alignment converge, financial outcomes shift from reactive and uncertain to intentional, abundant, and exponential. Finally, understand that building a money mindset is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. It requires daily attention, reflection, learning, and action. You must constantly examine your beliefs, confront your fears, seek ways to add value, and align your emotions with abundance. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking, who model the results you desire, who inspire growth and possibility. Read, learn, invest, experiment, and iterate. Each decision, no matter how small, compounds into massive outcomes over time. The combination of mindset, courage, and value creation is unstoppable. When you internalize that money is a reflection of value, that fear is a signal for growth, and that mindset shapes everything, you begin to operate from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You begin to think strategically rather than reactively. you begin to create financial results that are extraordinary, sustainable, and aligned with your highest potential. Building your money mindset is the foundation for wealth, freedom, and the life you deserve. It begins with the belief that you can, followed by the courage to act and the relentless pursuit of value that transforms intention into reality.